curiosity is perhaps the number one thing that we need to possess, right? It's like, it's figuring out the right question, those simple but powerful questions to
Yeah.
ask that get people thinking about the answers that they already have.
Yeah.
So
So
wh-
true.
when I talk to people with regard to coaching, whether they're in academic, medical, centers or other sort of places, I usually talk about sort of two forms or purposes that executive coaching, leadership coaching can take. And there's what I call remedial coaching,
Mhm.
which is what, comes to mind for, I think, a lot of people. That is, somebody's a bad actor. Some people might call it charm school or other sorts of, things that somebody just can't, I think you used this analogy earlier, can't play well with somebody in the sandbox, right? They're just not good with other people and they need to learn, just be a reasonable human being. Don't be a jerk, right? So that's the sort of remedial side of it. And then there's, I think, probably more what we're geared toward, and it's what I call developmental coaching, which is helping those good people identify the one or two dials or levers that they need to move just a little bit so they can really become great. So I personally, and I think this is probably true for you, try to spend my time doing that developmental coaching.
Yeah, there's been wholesale shift in the whole coaching industry. 10, 15, 20 years ago, a lot of coaches were called in for remedial purposes. And sometimes it's just to justify an exit. Well, we
Sure.
brought in a
We
coach
tried.
fast, just got to let him go. And then something happened. I can't put an exact timing on it, but coaching became more, dare I use the word fashionable, or there was a certain contagion caught on. I think it's certainly helped. There's a great tailwind from people like Marshall Goldsmith, for
Yeah.
example, who's well known and has written books and speaks extensively on it around the benefits of coaching and emotional intelligence. For example, you think about building coach-like skills through emotional intelligence. That wasn't part of our vocabulary 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
So definitely there's more of a bias, and it's almost like, well, if you don't have a coach, yeah, there's something wrong.
Right. My first interaction with receiving what I would call structured coaching was at Stanford. And Stanford has a very good approach to identify people that they see as high potential, if you will, and offer coaching for them to go from good to great, so to speak. And that experience, I think, was great for me. It really broadened my horizons. It helped me to identify things. And I still have Mona, sitting on my shoulder asking me those questions, those simple questions, right?